Okay, folks, it's your buddy, Mike Messier, and I'm shaking up this drink before I launch into this rant. But this drink even, you can see it. This is a protein drink, peanut butter powder and some fiber powder. I put that all in there. And, but this is my second drink of the day because the first one hit the floor. I made this wonderful drink, its predecessor. And unfortunately for me, I didn't have the cap screwed on tight, and the whole drink bit it. So now we're going to talk about WWE. I'm going to talk about WWE. It's Tuesday morning. Yesterday was Labor Day. I hope you had a great Labor Day. But I just realized, I went to see that the movie last night, the 10 Rings movie, and I really just forgot that WWE was even on. This program, WWE Raw, that's been going on since January of 1993. It's been an institution in many people's lives, something that people watch with their families or their dads especially. Something that bonds people together. We lived through the whole Monday Night Wars with Nitro and Raw going at it. We survived that. WWE survived. Nitro didn't. They survived the short-lived attack by TNA Wrestling when TNA tried to do Monday nights, and the Westminster Dog Show and all these things that WWE Raw has survived. Years of Monday Night Football during the football seasons. Yet now, last night, it didn't even occur to me, folks, that WWE Raw was something that I was missing or something I should be taping, or no anxiety about missing it, no curiosity. Coming off that show from another company, AEW, that pay-per-view, where I had to pay money to see it. And, some fans are wondering, why would you pay to watch an AEW show? Well, the answer is because you want to support a company that you feel actually is trying. And WWE at times doesn't feel like it's trying. So the apathy that I've gained towards WWE is just so incredible. I as some of you may know, I led Raw Protest, #RawProtest, which, besides Eric Bischoff, I'm probably the person most responsible for the dip in WWE ratings. So, I just feel that I hit a point of apathy last night. And today I was even going to, cut this video without even checking the results. But I gave in to temptation and I checked the results on Bleacher Report. And I know that a lot of these supposed websites, they're kind of biased in the favor of the WWE, trying to be forgiving, so to speak. I mean, the guy's giving A's to matches like Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. And you can tell it's because his job, the writer of this article, his job depends on people reading it from week to week. So if he totally buries WWE and says, my God, what a horrible show, you're less likely to read his article next week. So you always have to remember, folks, people have motivations. Here's to it. I have no hidden agenda. I want what's best for my viewers. When my viewers are looking to me for counsel and advice, I want to tell them to make the most of their time. Your time is precious and valuable, and I don't think that for any of us, 3 hours of Monday Night Raw is a good use of time, especially if it's not pleasurable and enjoyable to watch the show. And we've seen so many people hate watch WWE this goes back to 2016 at least, but probably even before that. So I just say, the apathy is strong in me today towards WWE. It's almost a sad resignment, just a resignment that company has lost its way when they hire people, like this Kenneth lady a few months ago who spoke out against, about her being hired with no prior pro wrestling experience or even WWE sports entertainment knowledge. It just shows the values or lack thereof of this company, how they disvalue pro wrestling fans, the history of pro wrestling, how they devalue Miz and Morrison, having them be eaten by zombies, how they devalue Demolition Cross, putting him in straps and a mask. I mean, I'm reading this Bleacher Report, and this guy is saying, well, this is how Karrion Kross should have been booked all along. So I gave it to temptation. I clicked the video, and here comes Karrion Kross wearing his god-awful red Demolition outfit. And then I just stopped the video. I mean, once you've shown me that, once you've shown me Demolition Cross, I have no interest in watching the rest of your program for 3 hours. This is just simple stuff, folks. It's simple intelligence. It's discernment that I'm asking the WWE fans especially to have these days. And now you have no excuse. I mean, the excuse that Solid Monster used to make was habit and hope. Hope that the WWE gets better and habit in watching it. Well, I guess I'm going to give myself credit here. I'm going to do the old Barry Horowitz and pat myself on the back, because now the habit is broken. I mean, I went to see this movie last night. I had no intention of watching WWE. I had no regret about not watching it. And I don't think I missed a fucking thing. So there you have it, folks. It's really a shameful day when someone like myself, who with my intelligence and my writing ability went all the way to Titan Tower for a job interview, I experienced the overpriced hellhole that Jim Ross explained. He was accurate in that description of Stamford, Connecticut. It is an overpriced hellhole. It's a horrible city. There is a nice movie theater there, but as far as living there, it's horrible. You know, so there you have it. We had a wonderful AEW show, and we should be thankful. As pro wrestling fans, we should be thankful there's one company up and running that we can watch and not be ashamed of, and not be ashamed of their Saudi Arabian ties, not be ashamed of their political investments for the most part. We don't have to put our proverbial dicks between our legs when we watch AEW, okay? We can let it all hang out, because WWE castrates its wrestlers, metaphorically. Karrion Kross has been red roostered. He's been disgraced. And I hate to see friends of mine on Twitter, the wrestling friends, try to defend this when they know deep down in their heart that their man, Karrion Kross, has been humiliated and degraded and shamed. So I just feel that as pro wrestling fans, you should just be thankful that we have an alternative. We should feel thankful there's something else to watch. We can explore Japanese wrestling. We can explore wrestling from the past, the 1980s. David Graziano, good insight as always. I don't share your passion for wrestling, but everything you said so far, I agree with. I think the WWE has become very apathetic towards fans, and I felt that for a very, very long time. David's 100% correct. And David is not a huge wrestling fan, but he's a fan of movies and pop culture, and he knows when a company has lost its way. It's clear to everyone. It's clear to everyone that the WWE is a shameful shadow of its former glorious self, and that intelligent pro wrestling fans are now turning towards alternatives like AEW. They're dusting off their old VHS tapes, their old reel-to-reel movies, their old DVDs, So there you have it. Josh Johnson has a comment. Problem is, Mikey, in no particular order, since EC19, WWE has been a downward spiral. I'm trying to think of what EC19 is. You're talking about 2019, Spiral 2, Chapter 11, Bankruptcy. I'm talking RIP, Sears, Kmart, Toys R Us, Chuck E. Cheese. Now, WWE will join the list. Full off mindless sheep being led to slaughter. Proof, look at the near 200 layoffs since WWE cuts. Debatable, any plus profits for TV ratings, merch, or pay-per-view buys. But main problems is the McMahon family, so far out of touch. You most wish Tony Khan would, I'm assuming you're going to say, put them out of their misery. And Josh is coming on strong this morning, folks. This is the thing. This is not from people who don't want WWE to be good or entertaining. I went through the trouble of going to Titan Tower for a job interview. I spoke to John Cena. I spoke to Jim Ross, looking to get my foot in the door with this goddamn company. So it's not coming from people who don't care. It's coming from people that have had the care beaten out of them. Okay. I mean, we've just been sodomized metaphorically by this company for so long that we no longer care. In fact, there's a part of me, a big part perhaps, that wants to see the WWE fail because it's instant karma or karma that takes a while. Seeing NXT, which is a training ground for WWE, become a joke, okay, that makes me laugh now. Okay, that gives me humor. That Triple H's project is being dismantled. Okay, so these rich assholes, and that's what they fucking are, that give you this dog shit of a company. I find great amusement in their company turning to crap. Okay, that's what they've done. And who do they have to blame? Well, they'd like to blame people like me. They like to blame people like Dave Meltzer. They like to blame the quote smart marks quote. Well, the smart marks are all that you have left. Okay? So the WWE is a creative corpse. Yes, they might get some fans for SummerSlam. Yes, they might get some fans for WrestleMania. But the reality is, this is a company at one point, in my opinion, was a legitimate threat to the NFL for the number one, you know, entertainment company in the country. I really believe that. I really believe that after 2001, when they acquired ECW and WCW, the tape libraries and everything else, the WWE could have concentrated on pro wrestling, not done the goddamn XFL for the first time, and they could have been a legit threat to the NFL, toe for toe, show for show, and they failed to do so. They failed to do so. So don't tell me all this goddamn crap. I know some people love Vince McMahon. They put him on a fucking totem pole as their hero. But let me ask you this. Was Junior McMahon, did he come up with this company? No. He inherited this company. They say he bought it from his father. He bought the company, I believe, for $1 million from his father. But the company was worth $7 million at the time. Cody's checking in. PX Soto, the wonderful editor of Ox Baker, one of the boys. Just think about what Ox would say at a time like this. Part of me says don't count out WWE. They were able to turn things around for the better and beat WCW 20 years ago. I guess the difference is now they're publicly owned and have no answer, and have to answer to stockholders. Can't change directions as quickly, if at all, as they did in the 90s. Wonderful insight, Cody. Wonderful insight. I mean, people talk about this whole Saudi Arabian thing. Well, the UFC chose not to go to Saudi Arabia. They changed their minds when they saw the god-awful atrocities going over there. And yet the WWE went. And they tried to shine that shit and serve it on a plate for you and make you eat it. But a lot of people didn't want to eat that shit. So there you have it, folks. I'm just telling you the truth that some of you are man enough to listen to and some of you are not. I mean, I got my buddy over there, Mike Monty, who's always so vigil for Charlotte, how great Charlotte is. How are you going to feel when Charlotte's the AEW Dark Women's Champion, Mike? When they come up with a secondary title for AEW Dark in the women's division and they strap that belt around Charlotte's waist. That's what's going to happen. I mean, she's going to go there to be with her man, Andre. All the cool kids are going to AEW. You saw it on Sunday night. You know, I'm not a huge fan of some of these guys. You don't see me singing a song about Adam Cole, but a lot of people like him. And there he was. Brian Danielson. There he was. Ruby Soho. Please, Jim Ross, don't use her slave name of Ruby Riott. That's in the past. That's the shameful past. Here she is, Ruby Soho. Oh, so happy to be in AEW. All the wrestlers that have self-pride are going to AEW. And people want to label them as sellouts. They're not selling out. They're buying in. They're wising up. CM Punk, I mean, I'll give him credit. You know, he didn't look that great to me, but he got a big payoff for this thing. Money talks, folks. It's like Jim Cornette says, how do you make $1 million in the pro wrestling industry? Spend $2 million. So the point is, if you're wondering why AEW is successful, it's because they're coming from a place of a lot of money in the first place. They come in with tons of money. So money begets money in this wrestling world. It's not, you know, if you wanted to have these smaller promotions, you know, Game Changer Wrestling, people are getting excited about and all this other stuff. But, you know, even Impact, the more money you have to start with in wrestling, the better off you'll be. You know, it's just simple stuff. But anyway, I've said my piece. It's a Tuesday. It's past noon. I'm going to take on the big scary world. I suggest you do the same. Jorge Gonzalez chiming in. I stopped watching over a decade, but this is very interesting. Where and when does AEW air? Well, Jorge, all you got to do, buddy, is turn on to AEW on Eastern Standard Time. I know you're a world traveler, but Wednesday nights, 8 to 10 on the TNT network. They will be moving to TBS later in the year, but for this week, it's on TNT. If you want to catch some clips and stuff, just go to AEW All Elite Wrestling on YouTube. Plenty of stuff. You can even find some clips on your buddy's subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Just look for AEW on my channel. You'll see some clips you won't see anywhere else. They also have a show on Friday nights on TNT at 10 o'clock where CM Punk made his big return. And they just did a big pay-per-view that I saw in a movie theater here. So Jorge is an old school wrestling fan. He used to enjoy things like Razor Ramon and the Puerto Rican wrestling scene. And now I'm sure Jorge will be very excited. See, I've just made another AEW fan. They should have me on the goddamn payroll. We just see this apathy towards WWE, and AEW is taking advantage of that. The times are changing, and if you're an old school WWE loyalist, you have to stop being a dinosaur, okay? You have to wake up a little bit. Times have fucking changed. It's not 1998 or 1975. Bruno's not wrestling in the Garden anymore, folks. You know, Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper are not doing the war to settle the score, and the Attitude Era is dead. It's in a casket. And every time they try to bring out, you know, Edge or some other throwback wrestler, it's just a sad reminder of better times gone past. So the WWE is choking on its own fumes. We've come to a new conclusion. AEW is now the promotion that we're watching. We've decided that. Some people may not fully agree with it, but it's been decided. You have no choice. That's the new wrestling conversation of the day. AEW. The WWE is in the casket. It's dead. So enjoy the funeral. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. All these wonderful insights, Mike's instant movie reviews, Messier Mantra. I encourage you to watch Messier Mantra if you want the nice Mike. This is the brutal Mike. This is the tell it like it is Mike. But if you want the nice smiling asshole Mike, watch Messier Mantra, Disregard the Vampire, an 11 award-winning film documentary by me. Okay, so there you have it, folks. Have a wonderful fucking day. And remember, discernment, choice, intelligence. That's the 3 words I want you to use today. Discernment, choice, intelligence.